The Persian Gulf is 615 miles long and 210 miles wide at its broadest point. At its narrowest point, the Strait of Hormuz, it is only 21 miles wide. That strait is one of the most important waterways on Earth. About 20% of the world's oil passes through it every single day. Iran sits on the northern shore of that strait. The United States operates naval forces throughout the region, with its Fifth Fleet headquartered in Bahrain, a small island nation just 200 miles from the Iranian coast. If a conflict between the US and Iran began, the first and most immediate problem would be geography. Iran is not a small country. It covers 636,000 square miles, roughly twice the size of Texas. It has mountains, deserts, and a coastline that stretches over 1,500 miles along the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. Iran's military has spent decades preparing for a conflict with the United States specifically. Their strategy is not to fight the US military head-to-head. They know they cannot win that way. Instead, Iran's strategy is to make any conflict as costly and as slow as possible. Defense analysts call this an asymmetric strategy. Asymmetric means using unconventional, low-cost tactics against a more powerful opponent. Iran has fast attack boats, shore-based missiles, underwater mines, and proxy forces spread across the Middle East. The US military has planned for all of these threats, but neutralizing them takes time, resources, and precision. In any large-scale conflict, the first 72 hours are the most critical. This is when each side tries to destroy the other's ability to communicate, resupply, and launch further attacks. The US military would begin with what analysts call a SEAD campaign. SEAD stands for Suppression of Enemy Air Defenses. Before any bombers or fighter jets enter Iranian airspace, the US would need to disable Iran's radar systems and surface-to-air missile batteries. A surface-to-air missile is a missile launched from the ground that is designed to shoot down aircraft. The primary tools for this phase would be the US Navy's Tomahawk cruise missiles, launched from submarines and surface ships positioned in the Persian Gulf and Arabian Sea. A cruise missile is a guided missile that flies at low altitude to avoid radar detection. Tomahawks can hit targets up to 1,000 miles away with an accuracy of within a few feet. Simultaneously, the US Air Force would deploy B-2 stealth bombers. Stealth means the aircraft is designed to be very difficult for radar to detect. B-2 bombers fly from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri and can reach Iran without stopping. They carry large bunker buster bombs, bombs designed to penetrate deep underground before exploding, targeting hardened Iranian military facilities. A hardened facility is one built with thick concrete and buried underground to survive airstrikes. Iran would respond. Their ballistic missiles, rockets that travel in a high arc and fall toward their target, would be launched at US bases in the region. Iran has missiles capable of reaching US facilities in Qatar, the UAE, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. The US military uses Patriot missile defense batteries at these bases. A Patriot battery is a system that detects and shoots down incoming missiles before they land. Not every incoming missile would be intercepted. Some US facilities would take damage. This is part of the strategic calculation that defense planners account for in any conflict scenario. Iran's most powerful non-nuclear threat is its ability to close the Strait of Hormuz. To do this, Iran would deploy small, fast attack boats in large numbers, lay underwater mines across the strait, and use shore-based anti-ship missiles to target any vessel trying to pass. An anti-ship missile is a missile specifically designed to sink or disable naval vessels. The US Navy's response would center on its minesweeping capability. Minesweeping means using specialized ships and equipment to locate and safely detonate underwater mines before they hit other vessels. The US operates dedicated minesweepers in the region for exactly this purpose, but clearing a heavily mined strait takes days, not hours. During that window, global oil shipments would be disrupted. Markets would react. This is a documented part of Iran's deterrence strategy. deterrence means making the cost of conflict high enough that the other side hesitates to start it. The U.S. Navy's carrier strike groups would be central to controlling the maritime environment. A carrier strike group consists of one carrier aircraft, several destroyers and cruisers, at least one submarine, and supply ships. The aircraft carrier itself can hold up to 90 aircraft. These aircraft would conduct strikes on Iranian naval bases, missile launch sites, and radar installations along the coast. Iran's air force is considerably older than the U.S. Air Force. Much of Iran's inventory dates to before 1979 and consists of U.S.-made planes purchased before the Islamic Revolution, for which Iran can no longer get spare parts. Iran's most capable domestically produced aircraft are limited in range and payload compared to U.S. fighters. Payload means the weapons a plane can carry. Iran's primary aerial threat would come not from traditional fighter jets, but from its large inventory of drones and ballistic missiles. Iran has one of the largest drone programs in the Middle East, including the Shahed, a slow, one-way attack drone that flies to a target and explodes. These were used in attacks on Saudi oil facilities in 2019 and have been documented extensively in open-source defense reporting. Defending against large numbers of these drones simultaneously is resource-intensive. Each intercept missile costs significantly more than the drone it's shooting down. This cost asymmetry is a documented strategic challenge for U.S. and allied air defense planners. A hypothetical U.S.-Iran conflict would not end quickly. Defense analysts at institutions including the RAND Corporation and the Center for Strategic and International Studies have consistently concluded that while the U.S. military would hold decisive advantages in air power, naval power, and precision strike capability, Iran's geography, its asymmetric tactics, and its network of proxy forces would make a rapid, clean resolution unlikely. The U.S. would have superior technology. Iran would have terrain, dispersal, and time. Dispersal means spreading military assets across a wide area so that no single strike can destroy them all. The Strait of Hormuz would be the central pressure point. Whoever controls that 21-mile passage controls a significant portion of global energy supply. The U.S. military's primary strategic objective would be to keep that strait open. Iran's primary strategic objective would be to threaten it. The tools on the U.S. side are carrier strike groups, stealth aircraft, cruise missiles, and minesweepers. The tools on the Iranian side are ballistic missiles, drone swarms, fast attack boats, underwater mines, and proxy networks spread across 5 countries. The math is not simple. The outcome would depend on decisions made in the first hours, the willingness of regional allies to provide basing and overflight rights, and how quickly Iran's command and control structure, its ability to coordinate its military, could be disrupted. These are the documented variables. Everything else is speculation.